She hadn't slept in 3 days. She hadn't eaten. She was alone in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, holding something so small it could fit in your 2 hands. Then the wave came. What she did next is the reason I believe animals love exactly the way we do.
Beneath the surface of the Pacific Ocean, something stirs in the cold, dark water. The kelp forest off the California coast, one of Earth's most biodiverse ecosystems, and one of its most unforgiving. Great white sharks patrol these waters. Pacific storms can rise without warning, and the cold, 48 degrees, is cold enough to kill. Yet here, floating on the surface of all that danger, is a mother. And pressed against her chest, too small, too fragile, too new, is the reason she hasn't slept in days. She is approximately 4 years old. Scientists along Monterey Bay have followed her for 2 seasons. They gave her a number. She doesn't need a name to tell her story. Her pup was born just 48 hours ago. He entered the world weighing barely more than 1.5 pounds. He cannot swim, he cannot dive, he cannot survive without her. Sea otter mothers are among the most devoted parents in the animal kingdom. For the first weeks of a pup's life, she will carry him on her chest, every waking moment and every sleeping one. She hasn't eaten since he was born. Every instinct tells her to dive, to crack open a sea urchin, to feed her exhausted body. But she doesn't move, she stays. In the ancient mathematics of nature, her hunger does not matter, only he does. But the Pacific does not soften for mothers. 30 miles offshore, a late-season storm is accelerating toward the coast. Within hours, swells will reach 6 feet. Wind speeds will exceed 40 knots. The mother senses it before she can see it. Sea otters read the ocean the way we read a room, in pressure, in sound, in the messages carried by the water itself. She begins to groom him, frantically, desperately. This is not just tenderness, this is engineering. Sea otter fur traps over 800 million air bubbles per square inch, the densest fur of any mammal on Earth. Without this coat of air, a pup this young would sink, and sink means die. Then, a wave, larger than the ones before. It strikes them sideways. The pup is ripped from her chest and thrown into the churning water. For 3 seconds, he is alone in the Pacific Ocean. 3 seconds that last a lifetime. She finds him by sound before she can find him by sight. Newborn sea otter pups produce a cry that researchers describe as somewhere between a seagull's call and a human infant's scream. Evolution designed it to be impossible to ignore. She hears him, and she goes to him like gravity, inevitable, absolute, without a single moment of hesitation. She scoops him from the water and pulls him against her chest. His cries stop. Not gradually, instantly. In that silence, in that single held breath, the whole ocean seems to pause. The storm passes, as Pacific storms do, violently and without apology. She has not slept in 36 hours, but she will not sleep until she knows he is safe. Now she must eat. A nursing sea otter mother must consume over 25% of her body weight every single day just to produce enough milk. 25% every day. Think about what that means. But she can only dive for 90 seconds before she must return to him. She can never stay down long enough to truly satisfy her hunger. Not once, not in these first weeks. Watch what she does next. This is what researchers say they never get used to seeing. She grooms him until his fur is so full of air, he floats like a little buoy, a living, breathing life raft built with her own hands, so that even if a wave took her, he would not sink. She prepared for her own absence. That is what love looks like in its most essential form.
3 weeks pass. The pup is growing. His eyes are sharper. His curiosity is becoming dangerous. He wants to touch the water. He leans and leans and leans until she holds him. She always holds him. That is the whole story, and all of it. Have you ever held something so precious you were afraid to breathe? She knows that feeling. She has known nothing else since the day he was born. At 6 weeks, he takes his first swim. 3 strokes. Then he panics and climbs back onto her. She responds to his first attempt at independence with what researchers struggle to call anything other than joy. The California sea otter population once fell below 50 animals. Today, through decades of protection, it numbers nearly 3,000. Every single one of those 3,000 lives began here, on a mother's chest, in the kelp. Sea otters are what ecologists call a keystone species. Without them, the kelp forest collapses. Without the kelp forest, the ocean changes. They do not simply live here. They hold the entire ecosystem together. Love in nature is not sentimental. It is structural. It holds things up. She still watches him, even now. She probably always will. That's what mothers do. They hold on, even when they let go. Love has no species.